I'm Olivia Bailey, and if you're seeing me right now, you're probably watching EHC-TV on Comcast Cable. You might be listening to WEHC 90.7, and it might be halftime show of the basketball game. Whether you're hearing or seeing me right now, I'm glad you're tuned in. My guest today is Josh MacMillan, a senior baseball player for ENH Baseball. Thanks for being on the set
Thank
today.
you for having me.
So, where did you get your start in baseball, and how did you end up at Emory Henry?
I was 3 years old. My dad suited me up. I remember running around the house in rubber cleats, marking up the kitchen floor, and I went out and played my first game. Probably didn't even touch the ball. I could barely throw it, and I've played every year since. And how I got here, to shorten it up, it was my last pick. I did not want to play baseball at first. And then I realized, I think I might pursue a career in college baseball, and felt like Emory was the best choice. It was small. I went to a small high school, and just kind of, it was comfortable for me when I came and visited the campus. Felt at home.
Well, you talk about being 3 years old and scuffing up the floors with baseball. I don't even know if I could have picked up a baseball bat at 3 years old. How was that? I mean, did you transition from t-ball? How did you get your start there?
Well, yeah, I probably couldn't pick up a bat either. Probably my dad standing behind me, and they had a tee, and you just knock it off the tee and run around. But I don't know, it just kind of developed from there. And I went to a small high school, so you played every sport. Baseball felt like it was my comfort zone again, and I don't know. I felt like that was my best sport to pursue, and that's where it took off from.
So did you look for Emory and Henry, or did Emory and Henry find you?
Well, I had a really good teacher in high school who took me on a college road trip, visited some big schools, some small schools, and Emory and Henry was the last one. I told myself I was not going to that college, probably because my feet hurt. I did not want to tour the campus. I live on a farm from home, so I do love the country. And before I submitted my last application, I realized, I think Emory Henry might be a place. I want to get away from home. 4 hours, I'm right outside of Richmond, Virginia. And, I wanted to try to get away from my family a little bit. I love them. I'm a family guy, but get on my own a little bit.
And you say you live on a farm, but
yes.
Emory's a lot different from Richmond. What have some of the transitions been for you in coming to Emory?
Not too much. Probably the biggest was just living on my own and not having my mom and dad every night, and my two young sisters. But when I say I live on a farm, Richmond was probably 30 minutes down the road, similar to Bristol being about 30 minutes down the road. So it really wasn't that hard to come into Emory.
Okay, so you're here now, and you've been involved in this baseball program for 4 years. What position do you play?
Middle infield right now. We have a new transfer this year who plays short for us, and he is injured at the moment, so I'm kind of filling in and kind of playing short and second right now. So
kind of like an all-purpose player right now.
Yeah, right now a little bit.
So coming in from your freshman year, we were kind of talking about this a little bit before we came on air. So what has the transition of the program been like for Emory and Henry baseball?
I guess as an outsider, I could explain the physical assets of the field, which now you see a press box, you see a little warning track behind the home plate, you see a scoreboard, you see new equipment, new helmets. Little things like that have been added on, which if you go to any other D3 school in the ODAC, you normally do see a little bit nicer facility. So now we're starting to compete in this area. But within the team, my freshman year coming in, there's no surprise. Emory's baseball record hasn't been too great in the past, and our number one goal is to change that. Everybody who wants to lose, no one wants to lose. And this year, from my freshman year to my senior year, we've coming out of a slow start out the gate, but it feels completely different. The young guys we come in are dedicated to the system. My freshman year was not like that. It just seemed like there was an attitude here that losing was okay, and after a while, you just kind of do get used to a custom of losing, and we're trying to break that habit. It might not be this year, it might not be next year, but I think right now what we're doing, we've got a good core group of guys that I've grown up with in 4 years here, and it's good to see. It's good to see it changing.
What do you feel like your responsibilities as a senior on this team is?
Well, I was actually fortunate to get elected captain this year, me and a buddy of mine, and which speaks a lot because these guys are some of the best guys I've ever played baseball with, and I would not, despite the losing records, I would not want to play with anybody else. That they mean something to me now, and I guess it's keeping them focused. You know, we might lose a couple, but it's keeping their hearts in it and having fun. Man, I tell you, you might lose, but if you're not having fun, it's not worth playing.
And we love coming out to the Emory and Henry baseball games. I love being out there. It's a fun atmosphere from you. You've got some big changes in the program this year. You've added assistant Coach Miller. How has he influenced this program so far?
Well, he's young, and you know, as we're a little bit younger than he is coming in, you know, you automatically think, well, he's too young to understand. You know, like he just finished playing himself. But I can tell you, his knowledge of the game for a young coach is extraordinary. He's basically honed our fundamentals that you learn when you're a young 3-year-old ball player, and he just takes it and makes us better college baseball players. And he has, you know, unfortunately for my senior year, you know, I'm not saying that I didn't perform my first 3 years, but I feel now that I'm learning things that are definitely helping us out for my last season. He's a great asset to the team.
And another addition that you have in this program this year is you are now going to be broadcasted through webcast. Darren's kind of picked that up, and you said that you didn't know that it was going to happen this year. What is kind of the feeling on the team as far as being broadcast play-by-play?
Well, that's awesome. I'm 4 hours from home. Mom and Dad love seeing their little boy play baseball, and now, you know, it helps them out. They get to follow it, and they don't have to drive 4 hours just to come out and see me play. I believe last year there was 1 or 2 games where we went to an opposing team, and they did that, and my dad watched it and enjoyed it. So, I mean, I think that's going to open up the doors for a lot of people. And now maybe future baseball players at Emory who may be thinking about coming here get to watch a game, see more about the team, and I don't know, I think it's going to be a big help.
So in your opinion, you've already had a couple of games this year, had a little slow start, as you mentioned, but what do you expect out of this season from the baseball team?
Compete. Last year we missed the ODAC tournament by, you know, 3 games. If we would have turned around and won, we'd have probably had the low seed, but we'd have been in there. And I don't remember the last time Emory's baseball had been in the playoffs. But, you know, the teams we played so far, we should have beat. There's no questions asked. But they are tough. I want the team to keep fighting. That's all that we can ask for. And our Coach Miller put in our locker room the other day that we should hate losing more than we do like winning, if that makes sense. So we should not get used to this feeling of losing, and that's all I can say. I just want us to keep fighting and hopefully make teams not want to play us, because they might beat us. We might get the L in the losing bracket, but they don't want to play us again because we're a hard-nosed team.
So what is your favorite tradition here at Emory and Henry?
Favorite tradition?
Yes.
Elaborate a little bit. I'm not sure.
Is there anything that you do baseball-wise to prepare for games or in practice that is something that's typical of that you've learned from previous teams, from senior captains, or anything like that that you feel like you need to do every single game?
I could say the bond from the team that I have. From my high school, we didn't win a lot in my high school either, so I did come from a familiar background. But, man, I feel like we're young men. We can work things out on our own, and it's great to have a coaches meeting. He comes in and lets us know, but I feel like we grow as a team and mature. When we get together, we can fix our own problems, and as me and my roommate, our captains, you know, we work together, and I feel like that strives us to the next level sometimes, and I feel like I'll carry that after I leave college into my career.
Well, it looks like there's a lot of promise for this baseball team, for people preparing for the season and getting ready to watch you guys, so I wish you guys the best of luck in your season this year.
Thank you so much.
You've been listening to this sports interview from Emory and Henry Reports on EHC-TV. You can find us on Comcast Cable Channels 70 and 95 on Wednesday and Thursday nights at 7. A replay of Emory and Henry basketball follows this program. Thanks for joining me, Olivia Bailey, for this sports interview.